Congratulations, you're raising a complete generation of people who don't have any idea what drive or ambition is.
Do you ever wonder what a Gen X thinks? Welcome to Gen X Slices.
Good job. I was talking with the guy the other day, and he was telling me, he was a younger guy than me, and he was telling me that there's, when he was just recently out of high school, there's no more honors classes. They've taken it out of some of the schools. I didn't know they were actually going to follow through with that. But the honors classes are gone. Now I understand why some classes they took out for other reasons, but they're taking out honors classes because they don't want people to feel bad that you couldn't pass one, that you couldn't take one, that you didn't fit in with one. So they removed the entire class. That way there's no challenge, nobody gets their feelings hurt. Well, what about the person who had the feelings of accomplishment because they did take the honors class and they got an A plus? You've also robbed that person of that feeling so that you can make sure the person who didn't pass the class didn't get their feelings hurt from getting a D minus or an F. You don't understand, I don't think any of you understand the common sense consequences that goes along with some of the stupid stuff you do. You don't have to have charts and graphs and focus groups to do all this. You don't have to have all those things to understand some of the basics at all. You know, you're never going to know if your kid could pass an honors class. You're never going to know if they were smart enough to. We're never going to know. They never got that challenge. And when you take away the challenge, you take away the reward that goes along with succeeding in everything. The whole thing is dumb. You're just trying to make everybody average. You know, you're just giving them a job. You're getting everyone into college. There's no more trying. If a guy works really hard and trains and hones his skills and applies for a job and conducts the interview and he nails it and he gets that job, he's going to try harder. That job is a reward. Why wouldn't he? He worked really hard to get that job. What about getting into a college? What about getting into a good school, a big school? What about one of those things when you try really hard in high school, you keep your grades up, you work as hard as you can, and you get that acceptance letter in the mail. You've accomplished something. There's a reward. You're going to go into that college. You're going to try hard. You have ambition. You have drive. You're taking that all away. You're creating a society of kids that are coming up, and they're all just going to be average. They've got no ambition. They've got no drive because you hand them everything. You dumb everything down, keep everybody the same, and push everybody forward into the same arena. And you do it under the heading of including everyone and everyone's feelings, and nobody's getting upset. But you forget that there's the other side of the balance, the other side of the equation. Let me keep it simple for you morons out there. The other side of the teeter-totter. Remember what a teeter-totter is? You're taking away something on one side, and you lose the other. You lose the ambition for what you guys are doing. The kids are unchallenged. They have to be challenged to do more and strive. And guess what goes along with challenge? Failure. That's okay too. You act like that's something to avoid. Why are we have to avoid? We can't have failure. We can't have people upset. We can't have people. Why not? They get back up and they move on. Now I know that's why you're doing it. I know why that's why what you're trying to do is that, well, we don't want to have to pick them back up and dust them off and get them back in the game. We don't want to have to don't do that. Don't push them. You don't tell them, no, they're fine the way they are. No, they're not. You have to teach kids that failure is part of life and to move on. To have failure, you have to have a challenge in front of them. For them to accept the challenge, they have to have the ambition to go after it. Do you see the circle here? And you're ruining the whole thing. You take away the whole thing. I don't know if I'm making any sense to anybody but me. I know my generation understands this, but there is a whole bunch of you idiots out there that don't have a clue to what you're doing when you make all of these school reforms for being inclusive and what you think you're accomplishing for the reasons you're doing it. You don't even care about the consequences of what happens. You're just going to leave a wake behind you of people that are all messed up, they're not right in the head, they can't figure anything out. And you're doing it. You're doing it on purpose. You're conducting an experiment with human beings. You are. You're changing the world, and you're pretending that compassion is the most important virtue, and that's what everything is centered around, and everything moves forward from that. And you're wrong. Compassion is not the most important virtue. It is not the most important lesson to learn. In fact, I would argue that if that's what you're teaching them, be careful of the results, because you're going to get it. No, you're going to get it. Compassion is the most important virtue. It's not. And this whole experiment that you're doing is going to fail. Then you're going to have to find a way to blame the rest of us that kept telling you not to do it.